Hi, this is Sherman Crancer, Senior Partner Development Manager for Microsoft, and thank you so much for opening this up. We're going to be talking about a tool that I think is probably one of the best tools that have come out that really helps sell the Microsoft 365 security, story, really. Digital transformation, consumerization of IT, and recent trends toward bringing your own device and bringing your own cloud present both an opportunity and a challenge for many of the organizations that we work with. Organizations need the tools and technologies that can help ensure effective management, security, and compliance capabilities while also enhancing user productivity and satisfaction. This requires businesses to move from simply a device-centric move of IT to one that's more people-centric, right? We have to think about, our security, but we also have to think about the people we are working with, right? Who are working for us, and how do we operationalize or create some efficiencies, within the workforce. With that being said, Microsoft 365 represents a fundamental change in how Microsoft customers solve their business problems. The Microsoft 365 E5 is the most feature-rich version of Microsoft 365 and consists of Office 365 E3, Windows 10, and Enterprise Mobility plus Security. It provides the collaboration, productivity, automation, security features, and enterprise customer may need to support its digital business transformation. What we really love about Microsoft 365 is you can start with a security posture when you're talking to your clients. So in the future, in the next screen recording, we're going to walk you through the actual toolkit, which is a Microsoft 365 deep dive discussion tool. One of the best tools I have ever seen, and I hope you enjoy this, and we'll attach it to the actual communication so you can actually use this with your customers. Remember this. It's always good to start small. Start small with a conversation with your potential customer and talk about, the different things that you need to include in a security discussion, right? You need to include not just the endpoints that they currently have, right? But you also have to include, people and their devices. And with that being said, you sell them on the value of this discussion, then you set up a one-on-one and do a 1-hour deep dive. Thanks so much for watching this, and stay tuned for the next part of the screen recording. Hey partners, this is Sherman Crancer, Senior Partner Development Manager for Microsoft, and we're talking today about the Microsoft 365 Security Total Cost of Risk Deep Dive Discussion Tool. So we're just going to do a quick screen recording and run through it relatively quickly, but just kind of give you the idea and maybe possibly how to talk about it. So very first page is the About section. Very important to familiarize yourself here so you really understand some of the key words that are going to be used when talking with your customers. So when we get into the very first page, we're going to put information that is available or that is given to you about the company. Very self-explanatory here. Total number of licensed employees. These would be seats per se. Average number of work devices per employee. That could change. So one thing to note, through this particular workbook, anything that's light green is something that you can manipulate. Anything that is dark green is something that is either, comes from an industry standard, such as pay scale, or comes from a report from Forrester. All right, so very simple stuff. This is your staff information. You're going to put in your other metrics just in case work weeks are lower than 40 or number of work weeks in a year that are less. Can't be more with that. All right, so the second thing is we're going to go into actual costs now. This is the second page. So when you're sitting with the customer, you're basically going to talk about software costs. So with that being said, corporate, level A, number of licensed users is 200 from the page before. You're going to choose a type of scenario, so standard. Choose a scenario, Microsoft 365 E5, and that's what the cost per user per month is, about $55.7. So your customer is going to see total monthly subscription for all users, $11,000. Annual subscription cost, $133,800. Next, you're going to go to deployment cost, and this is where you're going to, basically put in what is your, hourly rate. Some of you it's more than $250, and some of you are less than $250. It doesn't matter, but you can go ahead and input that. The rest is what we have, surmised through looking at different reports, and this comes from the CISO report and are consistent with the Forrester Consulting report. for needs for hours, to deploy that many seats. It's all dependent. Then you can go ahead and put in soft costs such as training costs, which are very important, and other costs, other upfront. So if you have something else, you can go ahead and put that. What you're going to find out is the total upfront costs are going to be $114,000 for this particular customer, and total subsequent annual costs of $135,000. So at this point, your customer is probably like, "Wow, that is really expensive, and I don't know, how I'm going to be able to maintain that." All right, so now let's go ahead and get into benefits. What I like about benefits is it basically talks about and indicates and highlights items that you should be considering when making the move to Microsoft 365. And that's where we find, probably one of the biggest issues is people think Microsoft 365 E5, wow, that's expensive, and there's no way they're going to go for it. But you're not looking at the whole picture, and that's what I think this tool does very well. 3 pillars that we're going to go ahead and focus on: platform adoption, security, total cost of recovery, and platform and synergy. So with that being said, there's always a summary that comes to the very top. And what you can first look at is total annual cost savings and benefits, $562,000. Wow, wait a minute. What was our cost for it? Only, $249,000 to start, but wow, this is getting more interesting. All right, so in platform adoption costs, what's really important here is you have to figure out, what are the costs that are associated with maybe, it's adopting this, right? So first thing is we want to do is focus on increasing employee productivity. Finding with bring your own devices, right? Companies and partners are really interested in, or not partners, but customers are interested in either your employees bringing their own device, but also, conversely, buying the device, right? So we want to look at, let's see how many of the employees are bringing their own device. We want to talk about, enabling them with the Microsoft E5 license. And then we want to talk about how many minutes per week we're going to help improve productivity through this collaboration method. So percentage of employees, okay, 71% have that. Number of employees that are enabled, 250, including employees with M365, well, only 143 would have those because it's 1.5 devices. Average productive time improvement per employee, 37 minutes. Now, this comes not from just us or you, because it's a hard fixed thing in there. That comes from the 2018 Forrester Consulting Report. Total product improvement per year, 4,264 hours, to an annual user productivity savings of 162,000. So that's just one way of looking at it. The second thing to look at is employee turnover rate, right? There's been analysis by Cisco, right, that talks about 49% of employees prefer to bring their own device to work. Since employees may be more comfortable and accustomed to using their own device, BYOD has shown an increase in employee satisfaction by as much as 33%. So if you're thinking that's a good idea. You're talking about current employee turnover rate. We have to figure that. Turnover associated with dissatisfaction of company-provided devices, 10%. Increase in employee satisfaction, churn rate, bring your own device, is 33%, right? Average cost to replace the employee, $38,000. So we're ending up with a benefit efficiency of 100%, but the recruitment and training costs are at around only $10,000 per year if we can increase the value of working at that organization because of some of the devices. Next, really important is how do you lower help desk support costs? So we have the users, right, once again, but then this is what's really important is the average user in America calls their help desk 6 times per year. Now we back it out, average support call cost, right? Current support cost per mobile employee for all years is $120, okay? 6 calls times $20 an hour, or $20 per call, is $120. Okay, so now let's look at specifically percentage of calls related to new devices. So this is a value that we got from Capgemini. So 12% are new devices, 25% password reset, 15% are VPN connectivity. Okay, then we look at the expected help desk call reduction of 50% because we're going to be satisfying a lot of these things that don't need that. We're going to provide self-service reset, that type of information. Benefit efficiency due to the choice of licensing is 100%. So we have $11,000 and we're recouping by going to Microsoft 365. Another point of reference that I absolutely love is the Azure Active Directory app proxy, including an Intune and migration to the cloud with Office 365 and providing direct access capabilities. So now you no longer need a VPN. So if you think about it, 350 users, annual cost for the VPN license is $89. It's from some pretty simple math there. We're going to reduce it because we no longer need VPN, right? So we have benefit efficiency due to the choice of licensing. Awesome, right? All right, next. Bring your own device, hard cost avoidance. Okay, so the second thing, from instead of allowing your employees to bring their own device, you can kind of cover that by doing that. However, 49% of employees prefer to bring their own device to work. They're willing to pay for the device and the network subscription costs and allow them to stay productive. They do that. So let's take a look at some of these costs that are associated with that. All right, employees that are BYOD enabled, 250. Employees bringing their own device and not receiving a device from company, 50%. Average investment on device per user, $567. Average device rate per year, refresh rate, is 1.5 years. Average annual network subscription cost per user. Okay, check this out, $734. Now, percentage of the above cost now subsidized by the organization, 30%. Annual cost avoidance organization per user, $779. Benefit efficiency due to the choice of licensing, 100%. You have an annual BYOD hard cost avoidance of $97,000. All right, next, follow this along. One of the, we want to try to reduce the cost of mobile security incidents. So you have customers who want to bring in their own device tablet, but you also want them to bring their own phone, and the phone is the issue. There's 42% of all companies experience a mobile data breach, which result in a significant increase as well as just branding loyalty, right? So you have to be careful with that. And then there's also 3.1% of cell phones are lost or stolen each year. Almost 60,000 of these phones have sensitive, confidential information. So what we want to do is try to show the value by looking at the cost. So number of client devices, I'd say it's 525. Maybe we put in another note. We'll put in, well, this comes actually from the inputs. Okay, percentage of mobile devices lost or stolen each year. Is 3% of them are stolen, right? So percentage of mobile devices with sensitive data. Now that's what should be scary, 60%. Percentage of mobile devices with no limited protection or limited protection before, right? The cost of that's $34,000. Cost to organization per comprised device, mobile security instance, is $25,000, okay? Total current cost of mobile security, $84,000. Expected reduction in mobile security losses with Microsoft 365 security benefit efficiency due to the choice of issues, 100%. Annual mobile security instance, total cost reduction is $33,000. This is something you got to keep an eye on. It definitely is something that your customers will really enjoy. All right, so let's look at reducing data loss from breaches. Okay, so we can input here. We actually have information that's already populated in there, and this comes from Forrester Consulting Total Impact Report. So you just walk through with your customer on that. Then we want to look at single platform synergy benefits. So, one of the things that I talked to the partners about is trying to operationalize, right, and create efficiencies. Well, you can only do that if you have, a single platform for all your devices. But if you're managing customers that have multiple platforms, this doesn't work. So you really have an opportunity to, basically, synergize all the different platforms with this. So we can just put in there, and what's going to end up happening is you're going to have, you're going to see the benefits, of using the different services that we can provide. All right, next. Cost takeout. But this is pretty neat because this actually will talk about and highlight some of the security offerings that your customer may currently have, and you can just basically put in there $1, $2 per month or $0 per month, right? So we're going to have our constant, right, and this is our monthly savings based on what we are taking out. So if they have email, spam, attachments, threat intelligence, email encryption, multi-geo connectivity, you can start putting in here. How much does it cost? You're going to ask the question to your customer, right? Securing identity and access management. Once again, you're going to ask them, okay, do you currently use two-factor authentication? Yes, great. How much does it cost you? Cloud federation, cloud PIM governance, credit threat detection, UEBA, and you're going to put in here what are they paying, because the value of 365 is trying to find out how we can better secure their environment, make it faster, easy, and better, but also to possibly find money that you can use for other different potential projects, right? So you'd go down here, network security and data governance. You would add $1 or it's always per user. This helps us come to the end result. Endpoint security, what are they using? McAfee, Norton, right? They don't need to do that anymore. And then basically what is the cost of your current mobile security application? So MDM, what are they paying per month? This is a big opportunity. Mobile application management, really big opportunity. So, and then you come up here and you have your total annual cost takeout savings. This is a savings portion. All right, so let's go ahead and click on results, which I think is amazing. So in the results page, wow, here we go. Tells you about the estimated upfront costs or estimated annual cost. 135 to 1. Oh my gosh! So it was 249,000. They wanted me to pay up front. Remember that first page? They're probably thinking, "Whoa, wait a minute. How do we do this, right?" So because of the cost. But now you can show them, and then you show them as the annual benefits per year and the estimated net annual cash flow, which does. Okay, we have a discount rate or a hurdle rate of 10%. We end up with a net present value of $1,230,000. This gives you the projected down here and the different graphs on what you're doing with your customer. Net of this is a great way to really do a deep dive and say, hey, let's take a look at all of the different features and how all of the different features actually work. So with that being said, hey, thanks so much for watching this. We're going to put the link to the actual deep dive tool in the comment section below. Thanks so much, and really have a great day. Bye-bye.